There are over 116 million Geometry Dash levels, but of those, there are a few levels that go into the strange category. Weird bugs, strange difficulty rates, and just the most random sorts of strange in these levels. So I've already tried to find the worst Geometry Dash level, so why not try to find the strangest Geometry Dash level? So my first idea was to search for Geometry Dash levels that were featured but had no stars. See, stars weren't added to the game until update 1.3, and in that time period, naturally many levels were featured, and to this day, those levels remain featured but with no stars. So I found all 14 levels, and we will check each one to see which one of them is the strangest, and we can compare with any other levels I found in my investigation. So first, let's check out Razor's Edge, the newest featured level without a star rating. This level is very inspired by Clubstep. You can see parts of Clubstep near the beginning, and in fact the level uses the song from Clubstep with its use of Clubstep monsters and invisible mazes. At 64%, the level splits into two paths. Click the pink orbs and you are at a cube section where you jump over saws. Don't click the pink orbs and you are at a UFO part. Both parts are short and they eventually merge together into one level. And there's nothing else to mention. The next level is Auto, by far the most well-known instance of a featured level not getting any stars, and like the name suggests, the whole level's auto, if that wasn't obvious enough. For 1.0 standards, this is a really good level. It deserves its feature. Following that, we have Tri-Step, which has a similar gimmick to Razor's Edge, but it takes it to a whole nother level. See, if you hold, you'll obviously go to a cube section as you can see, but if you choose to only jump once or twice, there's a yellow gravity portal and a slightly alternate route. And even the ship part is technically different since you're either playing in normal or reverse gravity, but then later the level merges itself again. Overall, a pretty neat level. After that, we have Prohibited Area, by someone who actually you might recognize. Just like Razor's Edge, this level is inspired by a Rob Top level, not Clubstep, but Theory of Everything. From the song choice to the beginning, and then the rest of the level is random shenanigans that are actually quite fun. Now let's change things up and move on to the oldest Geometry Dash level that was featured with no stars, called the First Labor. For the oldest featured no star level, it's actually really difficult and a little bit sloppy, but it's alright. And also it's one of the few levels that are rated with a level length less than 30 seconds. After that, we have Prototype 3, which is a more unique styled level. It has some unique structures for its time because remember, most 1.0 levels look like this, so that's something to consider. And that's it. So after that, we have Maze Funk Maze. And before we even enter the level, the top comment was posted 2026 years ago? How does that make sense? Well anyways, when we actually play the level, it's much more typical than that strange comment. Not much else to mention. And now let's check out Demon Stage. And already you're noticing a pattern. Most of these featured levels with no stars are actually rated harder. There's only one normal level and 3 hard levels. Anyways, Demon Stage also weirdly has a comment posted 2026 years ago. Like, I'm not sure why this happens, but sure. Firstly, way too many mirror portals, and secondly, some parts of this level are very recognizable. And now moving on to one of the more older levels, we have Express World. This is a much more typical level and actually is quite fun, and I enjoyed playing the level. Following that, we have Jump on Dark, which splits into 2 paths in some parts of the level, which is quite neat. After that, we have Cupid Demon, which is heavily disliked, and when you play the level, yeah, not that it's bad or anything, it's just really difficult. Now we're moving on to the Red Carpet, which when you play the level actually has a red ground, which is quite neat. And again, it's a really typical level. The second to last level is Nonsense World level 12, and the title is really accurate. There's mirror portals everywhere, like it's actually blind in some parts. This level is actually nonsense. The final level is the first 3 trials, which thankfully is a much more typical level. Now, which one of these levels is the strangest? Well, it was between Demon Stage and Maze Funk Maze, and I decided to pick Maze Funk Maze because the poor guy who created this level was upset about his level, and one of those comments just so happened to glitch out and be posted 2026 years ago. So after that, I decided to look throughout the internet to see if I could find any strange or weird levels, and I managed to find 3 different levels. The first level we have is Dark Angel, and you might think it looks normal, but here's another level, same difficulty, but do you see the difference? The coin coins are golden. Meanwhile, in Dark Angel, the coins are silver. Well, this is because when a level has been raided, the coins in the level turn into silver, which means they are verified coins. But Dark Angel hasn't been raided, yet still has verified coins? Well, the level isn't the greatest, and like what Zopro said, this level was so bad, RobTop didn't even give a star rating. The next level I found in my investigation was Geometry Dash Quiz, which is actually a decent level. There's nothing wrong with it. That is until you look into the comments, and not just one, but several comments posted 2026 years ago. Now, as I mentioned before, I have no clue why this happens. It's certainly strange at the very least though. And then the final level I found into my investigation was Smetana, and you've definitely seen this level before, but there's a long story to this level. See, this level used to be a featured insane level, but then it got heavily dislike bombed, and while I can't find any photos, according to this comment, the level went from an insane to an insane demon, then to a medium demon, and then got unrated into a harder level. After that, the creator decided to update the level. It was re-rated into a 9-star, but some strange bug happened, and it turned into a normal 9-star level. And this was where I ended my investigation, but I didn't stop there, because I decided to ask my Discord server to see if there were any strange levels they knew. And oh my god, Hask95 and HPlayer2 came through and suggested 9 different levels, so let's go through them all. The first level is called Cursed Geometry Dash. It's actually the same level that you might have seen in a previous Juniper video, but I still decided to include this level in this video because it is really strange. Following that, we have EVW Impossible. For the longest time, EVW has had this series where he goes through levels to see if it's impossible or not. And then we have this level. When you play the level, you're at 100%. The end screen is bugged out and you can't move your cube even though this is in classic mode. But when you turn on start pause switcher, it gets even stranger because then you're teleported to this. Nothing. I'm currently showing you the footage sped up by 100 times. So theoretically, it is possible. Especially because when you go into the editor, the level length is 10,000 minutes long. The next level we have is Destiny of Death, which also has a strange story. It's a really old level, and it used to be a rated demon level, and after a secret way was found, it got unrated. And when it got unrated, the level became unplayable. Like, no matter what you do, you can't even copy the level. Now for the next level, you remember how Smetana turned into a normal 9-star? Well, there's actually another level just like it. Luster, an easy 9-star level. It has a very similar story to Smetana. It used to be in fact the easiest demon in the game and was rated as an easy demon, but later got re-rated into a 9-star and a bug happened. Now before I introduce the last 2 levels I think by far are the strangest, we have a few honorable mentions that weren't as strange as the rest. Desert O2, Ultra V, and generally all of Seox's levels are really weird for some reason. Like, it's really creative, but sometimes I think I'm going on an acid trip or something. And another level that couldn't make the list was Trigonometry Dash by Floroni out of all people. It's basically inspired from those GD knockoff games you'll see all over the App Store. And now the levels we're going to talk about are going to be the strangest of all. Let me introduce you to 963333369 and another mycop. By far the strangest 2 levels I found. First, let's check out 963333369. Now, 963333369 is the level name, but weirdly enough, 963333369 is also the level ID, and that is a really difficult thing to achieve, and the level serves no favors whatsoever. It looks like the most normal level you've ever seen, but no matter how many times you click, you get an absurd amount of jumps. Even if you're trying to avoid clicking, you will average 100,000 jumps minimum. And then there's another mycop. Before we even enter the level, the description looks really strange, but you actually need to activate this pop-up to see that it's colored. But then you'll see that the star amount requested was 66. I don't think that's an option, and the version of this level was -128. Oh, and also, the level says it's XL, but when you go into the editor, it's exactly a minute long, and it counts as a long level. And guess what? The level's even stranger, because the first coin for some odd reason doesn't get collected so easily, and even when you get the timing right, you only get the coin after like a second, and after you beat the level, there's 4 coins. It's really strange. Now, the strangest Geometry Dash level is really subjective. It could even be a random recent tab level if possible, but in my opinion, due to how strange this level is, it's gonna be hard to beat another mycop, as I'm crowning it the strangest Geometry Dash level.